Hello, Nickel City Mafia, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Mike Thornton, and I'm super excited to be back with all of you today. Before I get started, I wanted to give a shout out to my kids who I love dearly. Let's start with Brandon, Brian, Nicole, Jonah, and Caleb. Love you guys, and you're part of the reason I have fun with this. So I was talking to my son, Brandon, the other day, and he's like, Dad, I need you to get a little more energetic. I need you to feel energized and excited. And I feel like I always am when I'm talking, but he's like, Dad, you're a little monotone. You need to elevate a little bit. So you can always count on your kids to give you real talk, give it to you straight up. And I appreciate the feedback, and I appreciate feedback from anyone who's willing to give it. And I do these things for fun. It's great to meet new people. So let's get into today's conversation, which is the recent news about Buffalo Bills ownership wanting a new stadium with $1.5 billion asking price, and they don't want to pay a penny. They just don't want to pay a penny. They want it all on us. So we're going to talk about that. And my opening slide kind of asked the question: do we need a new stadium? Do we need one? And I'm going to give you some things to think about for the reason why I even have that question. And do we need to take this serious? So before I get into all of that, let's talk about three of the most recent stadiums in the last 3 to 5 years that have been built, and we can kind of see how they were funded. If we're being asked to 1.5 billion, let's see what they did. So let's first start with SOFI Stadium, which is the most recent. That's in Inglewood, California. $5.5 billion, folks. 5.5 billion. Yes, I didn't say that wrong. 4 years to build, 3 times the size of Disneyland. That's 298 acres. If you've been to Disneyland out here in Southern California, you know the size of Disneyland. It's huge. And imagine 3 times that. It seats over 70,000. It can be expanded to more, 80,000 and above if needed. It was privately funded. Don't know how, but good for the city of Inglewood and the surrounding areas, privately funded. It is the home of the Rams and the Chargers. Interesting thing about that is they each have to pay a $650 million relocation fee. That's $1.3 billion that they pay to the NFL, which then gets distributed to all the teams. Seems like a little bit of a scam to me. And Chargers, shame on you. Why didn't you use that $650 million that you have to pay to the NFL anyway and use it to get a deal with your Charger fans in San Diego? Shame on you. Seriously. All right, now let's talk about Allegiant Field, which was built for the Raiders. Look at that stadium. Pretty impressive. The proper colors for those Raiders. Anyhow, it took a little right around 3 years to build as well. It was a $2 billion venture. 1.1 of that coming from the Raiders, and then 750 million of it coming from public funding, which was funded through bonds that were issued, and they're backed by this hotel tax that has been put on the Clark County hotels, which is where Las Vegas is. So of course, you got lots of tourists coming into Las Vegas. It makes sense putting that tax on the hotels. Lots of money coming in and out of there, and they'll probably pay that off sooner than later, and makes sense for Vegas. I'm not sure many other folks can do that, but a hotel tax is the way they're dealing with it. So pretty cool. Again, it's for the Raiders, and again, $2 billion, kind of around the number we're hearing. Anyhow, the other stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is a $1.5 billion build in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, roughly around 3 years to build, 71,000 seats, 200 million of public funding, again through a bond that was issued and being backed by a hotel tax that was added. And one interesting thing about this, depending on where you read, it sounds like there was some fine print that somehow got this owner more money. I mean, beyond the 200 million that's being paid by this hotel tax, they've been able to go above and beyond that, and they're continuing to get money for future updates or upgrades to the stadium, and now I guess it's roughly around 700 million that this owner has access to, which to me feels like a crime to the city of Atlanta. I hope they're doing something about it. It just seems crazy to me that taxpayers are paying above that 200 million. Maybe they know about it, maybe they don't. Maybe I misread it. Again, I'm not a financial guy. I've done some research and I'm giving you information that I'm reading. So we'll love your thoughts there. But look at that stadium. It is beautiful. Retractable roof. 1.5 billion. This was a few years ago. So with inflation, who knows what that number is now? It would be for Buffalo to build the equivalent stadium. But I think the pricing of land might be slightly lower in Buffalo Orchard Park. Maybe that number could stay around the same, or maybe it elevates a little bit to maybe closer to 2 billion. We'll see. But beautiful stadium, retractable. We saw it in the Super Bowl. Incredible. And wow, could we get something like that? Could Buffalo have that? It's pretty impressive. But do we need it? So let's talk about the ask of the ownership. Again, 1.5 billion they're asking for, not all towards the new stadium, 1.1 billion towards the new stadium, and then about 400 million towards renovations of the Sabres Arena. Now, I'm hearing that 1.5 billion is low. It's not the ask. They're asking for more. So it probably does sound like they're going closer to the $2 billion ask. Again, no other city or county has ever funded from the public more than 750 million. The Allegiant Stadium was the first one to go that high. Now we're being asked to double that. Are you kidding me? Anyhow, I get it. It's a negotiating tactic that owners like to throw out there. They love to threaten to take their team elsewhere. It's been used forever, for years. I mean, dating all the way back, and I'm going to take you a little back in history here, dating back to the Ralph Wilson times. Let's go back there, right? And back in 1960, Ralph Wilson brought the team to Buffalo, playing at War Memorial Stadium, also known as the ROCKPILE. Why the ROCKPILE? Because this stadium was a piece of crap. And they played there for roughly 12 years, and we had success there. I mean, we won an AFL title back in 1964 and 1965. We even hosted the first AFL championship game to go to the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl against Green Bay. We lost that game, 1966, season of 66. We lost to KC 31-7. They went on to play Green Bay, and of course lost to Green Bay. It was a close game until the second half, and then Green Bay ran away with it. O.J. Simpson made his debut in the National Football League in 1969 here at the stadium. The stadium seated less than 50K, and it hosted both baseball and football. So why did I bring that up? Well, back then, 1971-72, Ralph Wilson says, hey, I want a new stadium. If I don't get a new stadium, I'm going to take the team elsewhere. I'm going to take them to either Seattle or I think he said Tampa, one of those two. Buffalo was not his original place that he wanted to bring a team to. I think just circumstances worked out that way, and that's how it started. But it was not his original choice of where to bring his football team originally. So 12 years later, he's like, I need a new stadium, need it now, or else I'm leaving. So the county and the state came up with some funds, worked out a deal, boom, Rich Stadium was born. So it's not the first time we're hearing this at all, but it's the first time we're hearing that they want us to pay $1.5 to $2 billion, all publicly funded, and they don't want to pay a penny. And so anyhow, interesting. So let's talk about the current stadium. And again, back to my original slide. Do we need a new stadium? Should we be serious? I take it very serious, and I'll tell you why before I get into the current stadium. Take it serious because cities have had their teams leave. The Chargers. I'm here in Southern California, so I was here to witness this going on. I work around huge Charger fans all the time, and my gosh, the city was trying to work a deal. Now, I'm not going to insult them, but I'm going to say they're not Buffalo. I don't feel there's so much to do out here in Southern California, and there's multiple teams, and I don't know. I just don't feel like when I went to a Charger game to see the Bills or any other team, the other team had just as many fans, if not more, than the Chargers. So I'm not sure what happened there or why there was not the support I expect to see. It's not something you would see at Buffalo. But anyhow, they city and the Charger ownership try to work out a deal. It just wasn't happening. The taxpayers did not want to pay an extra tax, and a deal couldn't be done. Part of it was finding a location that would fit as well. Fortunately, it didn't get done, and they've moved out of the city. Now, fortunately, for diehard Charger fans, those that are going to still stick with them, they're about an hour and a half now in SoFi Stadium. But man, many of the guys that I work with, the girls that I work with who are huge fans of the Chargers, they felt betrayed. And because of that, not only do they not support the Chargers, they've given up on the NFL altogether. So pretty sad to see that, especially with my friends. And I'm just kind of relating it to me. If the Bills left Buffalo, how devastating that would be, and I would just give up on the NFL altogether. So anyhow, we see the Raiders. The Raiders couldn't work out a deal in Oakland. Pretty diehard fan base. Not a deal couldn't get done. They didn't want to pay an extra tax as well. That stadium was horrible. I can see why the Raiders wanted out, or a new stadium at the very least. Deal couldn't get done, and now they're in Vegas. Look at the Rams. The Rams left LA. They went to St. Louis, had a lot of success in St. Louis. Now they're back in LA. And so this can happen. So I'm taking it very serious. So that's the answer to that question. We need to take it serious. Now, let's talk about the current stadium. Right? The current stadium, the lease is up in 2023. So this is why all this conversation is coming up. And just 7 years ago, 2013, 2014, there was $130 million invested in the Highmark Stadium. And what the reason was like, oh, we need to bring this the stadium up to standards, elevate it to a state-of-the-art stadium for the facility, for everything. So they did. They put $130 million into this thing. They did renovations to comply with the Americans with Disability. They built a new operations building. They upgraded the training facility. They built a new store, new video board, 2 40-person luxury suites, 14 new bathrooms, and other updates as well. Now I get it, the new stadium, I'm sure what the big deal is for a lot of these owners are these suites. They want suites and more suites because those bring the biggest money to them. So I get it, but could we not do that with another upgrade, another renovation potentially? I think so. Anyhow, answer the question. Let's ask a few more questions. So, what type of stadium are we talking about here? I'm hearing it's another open stadium. I'm hearing from a lot of folks that they think it's going to be this great retractable stadium, very similar to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So let's talk about that for a minute. If it's an open stadium, other than getting, I don't know, fitting some more of those luxury suites, I guess, what more are you going to bring to an open stadium, a new one that we don't already have? It would seem to me, instead of spending up $1.5 or $2 billion, that we could do another renovation like we did 7 years ago. 7 years ago is not that long ago. That stadium could not have deteriorated to the point where we could give up on it. If you're building a new open stadium, maybe renovations work. You tell me what you're getting out of a new open stadium. Please share the information. Maybe I'll agree with you. Ownership, somebody, tell me what you expect to get out of this new stadium, and then maybe I can agree with you. I can't right now. I can't get there. If you're talking about a retractable roof, so state-of-the-art facility that can open or close the roof, I'm going to ask you why. What's the point of it? Are you telling me that you're willing to give up our home field advantage during those playoff times when people come to Buffalo in those cold winter months? Are we just going to close the dome and make it comfy for everybody? Hell no, we're not going to do that, right? That's something we've always, yeah, that's something we've always prided ourselves on. That this team, when people come to the stadium, they're not used to the cold, and we're going to be able to take advantage of that. So you're not going to close the roof. People I've polled a few of my folks that I know in Buffalo, and they're like, yeah, we need a retractable stadium to get a Super Bowl. And when I first heard about this new stadium potential, I said the same thing to myself. How cool would it be to get one of these state of the art retractable roof, keep it nice and cozy, during the summer, have some nice AC going on instead of all that humidity. Maybe it might be good for that, but during those winter months, we're going to open that roof up. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. And if you're hoping to get a retractable roof just because you want a Super Bowl to be here, think about that for a second. Is the NFL really going to take a risk to have the Super Bowl played here? Which is some of the most unpredictable, some of the harshest weather, especially in January. They're going to take a risk to set everything up and then have some huge storm roll in, shut everything down? No, I don't think so. They've actually avoided other cold cities for this very reason, even with a retractable roof. I don't see it happening. And let's say it does, and it's successful, and we make lots of money. The city of Buffalo reaps in the benefit of that. Fantastic. That's a 1 in 20 year thing. It's not going to be like they're going to come back to us every year. There's so many other cities that can host the Super Bowl game. So I just don't see it. So the retractable roof, you got to sell me more on that. I mean, really, what else are you going to get? You're going to host other events there? Maybe. Maybe I can be talked into it, but I got to get more information. And this is where I need your guys' help. I mean, what are your thoughts? Open stadium? No, don't do it. Just renovate the current one. Retractable stadium? Okay, sounds cool. I love that stadium in Atlanta. Why? What are we getting from it? You tell me. Please help me out. I'm confused. I need some assistance there. So how can we pay for the stadium? Well, we already showed public funding. There's going to be a tax somewhere. Those two of those three areas, they used hotel taxes, and that may not work for us. The county, I'm sure the state isn't going to agree to that. So where's this money going to come from? Where's that tax going to come from? You know, are we going to use the sin tax that Cleveland used, where they put taxes on cigarettes and alcohol? With the joke being a bar at every corner in Buffalo, maybe that's the way to go. I mean, Buffalo fans love their team. They're willing to pay 25 cents, 50 cents more for a drink. I don't know what that number would be. I'm just throwing silly numbers out there. But I mean, maybe something like that. Maybe some chicken wing tax. I don't know. We have all these people, these tourists come in and they go to the Anchor Bar in downtown Buffalo. We know the best wings are kind of not there. They're outside of the Anchor Bar. But hey, those tourists can come there. Let's put a tax on those chicken wings and get the money back that way. Of course, I'm kidding about all this. I don't know where they're going to get that money, but they're going to have to get it somewhere. So give me your thoughts on how we could pay for this, how you see this being paid for, and how you see in the state of New York agreeing to this, or even the county, when you're going to have people saying, we have so much infrastructure all throughout the state that needs this money, and you're going to let owners who are billionaires get away scot-free? No, it's not. It's not going to work that way. Right off the top, I'm thinking, okay, that relocation fee you got to pay the NFL, take that right off the top of your number, whatever it is. I think the Raiders, I told you the Rams and the Chargers were $650 million. I think the Raiders were about $350 million they had to pay to relocate. So let's say the Bills, the thought was they're going to go to Austin, Texas. Whatever that relocation fee is, take that right off the top of your negotiation right there. And they'll figure out more things. The team hopefully will come up with some of the money. Maybe the NFL contributes. I don't know, they've done it in the past, but I heard that that's not available anymore. I think that's bull. They can still contribute. To keep this team in the great city of Buffalo, it would be a travesty to see Buffalo leave this. I think it'd be such a huge black eye on the NFL if the Bills left this area. And I know personally I'd give up. I'd be done with the NFL for sure if this happens. So I know the negotiators, the financial folks, they're going to figure something out. And I truly believe that. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you think that's going to look like. How are we going to get that paid for? So potential spots for the new stadium. Of course, I'm hearing the most obvious ones in Orchard Park, adjacent to the current facility, which makes a lot of sense. If it's going to take about 3 to 4 years, you're going to need a place to play. They can continue to play with an extension to the lease where they currently are at Highmark Stadium, and then when this stadium's done, just transfer over to there, which isn't very far away. So anyhow, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. This is kind of more of a question, a lot of open questions from me. Wanted to give you some information, what I researched and found. It's gonna happen. It's serious. Take it serious. Don't just pass it off like, nah, no, they'll never take the Bills away from Buffalo. They did it to other cities. These owners are greedy. And I feel when they get to voting, they're like, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to be that owner that says, hell no way is Buffalo leaving. Because what about when I want to move my team or when that opportunity comes from me? I don't want them saying, well, you didn't vote for us. I'm not going to vote for you. So I think the owners, again, I feel they're greedy. It's a business for them. I get it. It's a passion and a love for us fans. It's completely different. Something will happen though. I just know it will. So again, please give me your thoughts. Comment. I gotta know. I gotta know what you guys are thinking as well. And a few of the folks I polled, like I said, I saw a poll on TV. They're saying over 50% were saying no, we don't need one, and under 50 were saying we do. But give me your thoughts. What's that look like? Does that make sense on what I said? I don't know. I just want to hear from you. So that's enough time. I've taken a lot of your time. We've talked about a lot of things, how we can fund it, what it might look like. And so thank you for staying around. I do want to say that the channel does more than just all Buffalo on the weekends, which is what I'm all about. We have a show on Tuesday, which is we're combining our golf betting show and our golf DraftKings show. We used to have separate shows for that. We're bringing them together. It's been super successful. There's been some big hits on that channel. So if you're into golf, DraftKings golf, check it out. If you're into betting golf, check that out on Tuesdays. A couple weeks ago, we did a fantasy football show, which with two guys that just know so much information was made available to you. I highly recommend that you check out that show once you're sitting down getting ready for your fantasy draft, because you should be. It's that time of the year again, fantasy football. I'm super excited about it. And sit down, do your prep work, put on that show. It's 2 hours, but I have time links in there to take you to the most important areas that you're interested in. But I'd recommend you listen to the whole show. If you're really serious about fantasy football, you're at least spending 2 hours on your prep work. And you could be listening to that show and doing other things. And again, please comment, give us a like, and subscribe. But most importantly, comment, give us feedback. Let us know what you like, what we're doing wrong, what you'd like to see, and just introduce yourself. I want to meet you. I love meeting new people. Bills Mafia, Sabres fans all over the country, all over the world. Part of doing the show was about that, just meeting new people. So appreciate you all. And again, I will see you soon. I appreciate all your time today. I can't tell you enough how much it means that you checked the channel out and gave it a little bit of love. So we'll see you soon, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye now.